Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back into the video today, and today I'm going to be going over my NFL Week 7 power rankings. As NFL Week 6 was good, we had some good matchups, some good games. I mean, the ending of it against the Chargers and the Cowboys was a good, low-scoring game. Some good games this week. We're only one day away from the start of NFL Week 7, and, not a lot of games this week, but you have some good matchups. I mean, there are a total, I think there's only 6, 9. You got only, I think, 14 games this week. Only 14 games this week. And I think that's the same amount of games there were last week. There were 15 games. So you have less amount of games being played this week than there were last week. But you have some great matchups. You have the Baltimore Ravens and the Detroit Lions in the early slate of games. Then the late slate, you have the Kansas City Chiefs and the Los Angeles Chargers. You have the Rams and the Steelers. You have the Broncos and the Packers. Although those are two teams that have not been great, I think that could be a good game. Watch out for that game. And then Sunday Night Football, you have the Eagles and the Dolphins. So let's get into my NFL Week 7 power rankings, going from 32 to 1. At 32, I have the Carolina Panthers. Last week they were 32, and this week they lost by, what was it? I think they lost by 14, or they lost 30, or they lost 42 to 21, which is losing by 21 points to the Dolphins. At 31, I have the Cardinals. They stay at the same spot at 31. At 30, I have the Bears. They were previously at 26. I jumped on them a little bit after their first win of the season against the Commanders, but now I'm back at reality for the Bears with Justin Fields being out for a couple weeks. Then at 29, I have the Broncos, previously at 28. Then at 28, I have the Patriots, previously at 30. Only reason I take a jump on the Patriots because they did have a little bit of a better week on offense, and not only that, but I feel like the Patriots are a little bit of a better team than the Broncos and the Bears, just in my opinion. 27, I have the Giants, previously at 29. They nearly just beat the Buffalo Bills. They were one play away from beating the Buffalo Bills, 1 yard away from beating the Buffalo Bills, and they were without their starting quarterback, Tyrod Taylor, who has not started a game since the 2021 season, I believe. Has not started a game since the 2021 season. Had to step up. He wasn't great, but their defense was the main focus on their performance. Saquon Barkley was his first game back, and he's back now. And another reason for jump up for the Giants is all the teams I've listed before: Panthers, Cardinals, Bears, Broncos, Patriots. I don't think the Giants are good, but I think they are better than all those teams right there. At 26, I have the Tennessee Titans, previously at 23. They lost to the Ravens this week, earlier last week on Sunday morning in London, and reality starting to hit for these Tennessee Titans. At 25, I have the Vikings jumping up 2 spots after barely beating the Bears. I mean, I'm not taking a huge jump on the Vikings. Last week, I had them at 27. Their offense was terrible. Their defense was the big step up for this team this week. They scored on a touchdown as well on defense. Their defense is why they beat the Bears in their matchup. They nearly lost. They only beat them by 6. Now they play the 49ers this week. And it's not going to be good for the Vikings. But I got them at 25, jumping up 2 spots. Jumping up 1 spot is the Vikings' divisional rival, who didn't even play this week on the bye. The Packers, I have them at 24. Last week had them at 25. At 23, I have the Saints. Previously had them at 17. They looked terrible on offense against the Houston Texans. 22, I have the Commanders, jumping them up 2 spots. Last week had them at 24. I mean, good performance. Sam Howell looked good, but they barely beat the Falcons. And not only that, but Falcons' offense is terrible. It's like 1 week they're playing good offense, and they're actually playing pretty good. And the next week they're terrible. And they need 1 or 2 guys to have a good performance for them to win, and or sometimes it's more than that. I just don't think the Falcons are a good football team at all. I think the Commanders are better than the Falcons. I just think that as of right now, I think that the Commanders I'm still not high on the Commanders right now. 21, I have the Steelers previously at 19. I mean, they were on the bye week, and some teams had some good performances that I felt like they had to jump the Steelers. So no reason why. I think it was other teams' performances why I have the Steelers falling down. At 20, I have the Raiders previously at 22. They had a good win this week, although their last two wins are against some bad teams. I mean, this week they just beat the Patriots, although Jimmy Garoppolo was not playing in that game, and they beat the Packers. So, we'll see how they do this week against the Bears. So, it seems like the matchups keep getting easier for the Raiders, but I think they should win their third straight game. 19, I have the Falcons previously at 14. I was high on the Falcons after they beat the Texans. They played a really good performance. Their defense looked good. Desmond Ridder looked good against the Texans. Everybody really looked good on that team against the Texans in Week 5. So now I'm starting to hit. Now the Falcons are starting to hit I think they're starting to hit reality. At 18, I have the team that the Falcons beat in Week 5, the Houston Texans. Previously at 21, the Texans and C.J. Stroud looked great in Week 6 against the Saints as they beat them 20-13. The Texans definitely deserve to jump up. At 17, I have the Texans' divisional rival, the Indianapolis Colts, previously 12. I mean, there's multiple reasons why I have the Colts jumping down this far. They just lost by 17 to the Jaguars. It's their second loss of the season to Jacksonville. Anthony Richardson is out for the season, and I'm not too high on the Colts right now after they just took another loss, and now they play the Cleveland Browns this week. So, not looking good for the Colts. Then at 16, I have the Chargers previously at 10. The only reason I take a little bit of a drop out on them, I mean, it's not because of their loss. They lost the Cowboys. The Cowboys are a great team, and not only that, but it was a close game. It's just because they're a 2-3 team, and like all the other teams that have one more loss than they do have wins, they're not even close. I mean, there's actually not a lot of teams that have the Chargers are the only team in the NFL to have a 2-3, or the Packers. Okay, the Packers have a 2-3 record. For instance, the Packers have a 2-3 record, and I have them at 24, while the Chargers have a 2-3 record, and they're at 16. What have the Packers done different that the Chargers haven't? I mean, the Chargers' 2 wins come against the Raiders and the Vikings. Well, the Packers' 2 wins come against the Saints and the Bears. So, the only reason why I have them at 16, last week had them at 10. They're a 2-2 team last week, and they looked pretty good the week before. So, I think right now, them being a 2-3 team does not help, and it's not going to get better when I think the Chiefs beat them this week. At 15, I have the Rams. Previously at 18, the Rams looked great this week against the Cardinals. Stafford looked good. Cooper Kupp looked good, and his second week back. Then at 14, I have the Jets, who got a huge upset against the Eagles. Previously had them at 20. At 13, I have the Buccaneers. Previously had them at 9. At 12, I have the Seahawks. Previously had them at 8. At 11, I have the Cincinnati Bengals. Previously had them at 16. Entering the top 10. At 10, I had the Ravens. Previously had them at 15. At 9, I have the Browns. Previously had them at 13. Great win against the 49ers this week. At 8, I have the Cowboys. Previously had them at 11. Number 7, Bills. Previously had them at 7. Number 6, Jaguars. Previously had them at 6. I know some people might be upset about the Bills or Jags being at 7 or 6, but I just don't think either one of those two teams right there showed me enough this week to put them over teams like the Eagles and 49ers. I get they lost this week, but those are still two good teams. I don't think the Bills or Jags are better than those two teams, or same thing goes for the Dolphins, Lions, or Chiefs. So right now I'm going to stick with the Bills and Jags being at 7 and 6. So, that's it for my NFL Week 7 power rankings. You guys know your thoughts on my power rankings, and give me your power rankings in the comment section, and peace out.